Have you ever had an enemy in a game that gave you so much trouble you were determined to defeat it? I remember during the early days of Final Fantasy XI, there were a few that still haunt me to this day. For example, the Banshee at the lake in Qufim used to waste parties all the time at level 20. I always had a knack for going back and defeating that enemy once I was high enough level. The enemies were mine, and those enemies will always be remembered. Who here remembers circuit killing complete EXP parties in Garliage Citadel? I do, and I always went back to defeat those enemies that were so revered. There are the NMs that you want a priceless drop from, such as Sky Gods back in the early days, or something like Omen gear during current endgame. You go for it, and you try, sometimes failing, pulling out all the stops, and still failing. You change strategies only to find out you still fail. Some things get easier and some get harder, but then you get experience and you learn how to win. I had to go through that with Neak. I remember Neak destroying my link shell previous to learning the strategies to defeat him, but this time he was mine. Or rather, I was his. I wanted to try to defeat Neak on Ranger with Trust. I'd get close sometimes, but eventually would fail. You see, Neak has a few abilities that will make any experienced player cringe, and requires very high accuracy from the player. When it's all said and done, about 1700 accuracy is the melee cap according to BG Wiki. Luckily, Ranger's ranged accuracy is pretty decent, even in a TP set. He uses all of the dragon abilities such as breath attacks, body slam, and the dreaded void song. Neak's Void Song doesn't just dispel your buffs, but also dispels your food and erases his debuffs. Every time Neak uses Void Song, he will immediately use Meteor on you afterwards. Discordant Note is another ability Neak has that will inflict slow, silence, weight, and give a minus 80% damage taken buff to Neak. This damage taken can be broken by proccing a damaging weapon skill for a white proc. Magical weapon skills being the best since they don't miss. Heavy Stomp is also annoying because it inflicts paralysis, and wow, is Neak's a powerful detrimental effect. Lastly, the ability that Neak has, and an ability that is the bane of my existence, is Chainspell. With Chainspell, Neak will use his most damaging spells on you, including Breakga, Fire 6, Fire Raja, Water 6, Waterga 4, Waterja, Arrow 6, Erosia, and Meteor. Meteor and a couple of Ja or Ga spells will demolish a trust tank, let alone the whole party. So I ventured off with my go-to trust setup: Amchuchu, Selh'teus, Arciela, Koru-Moru, and Yoran-Oran. I didn't do too bad, got him down to about 30%, and Neak just destroyed with his Note and Chainspell abilities. I got excited because that was my first go at him. The second and third times I got him down to 38%, and then around 40%. Then the most terrible thing happened. I lost confidence in myself on the fourth time. I didn't get Neak below 80%. It was time for a reevaluation. The first thing I did was make sure every time Void Song was used on me, I immediately reapplied Sublime Sushi back on and kept going. I talked strategy with my online buddy Dades of Cerberus server, and he suggested to change to the Sylvie Unity for Geo buffs and unlock Ignis to replace Yoran. I swapped from Yoran-Oran and joined the Sylvie Unity. I finally unlocked Ignis, went for Neak, and used the 5th run as a test run to try out the new truss. I got Neak back down to about 38% with Amchuchu, Koru-Moru, Selh'teus, Sylvie, and Ignis. Even better was the 6th time down to 18%. I was super stoked. I felt like I had a fighting chance. It happened again though. I died to Chainspell with Meteor and various other high tier spells. On the 7th try, I failed yet again to Chainspell and Meteor at 22%. I went back to the drawing board. Up to this point, I had been using Gastrophides with Last Stand to True Flight, but when Discordant Note would hit, the damage for both weapon skills were terrible. I then had a bright idea of adding more magic attack and magic accuracy so that my spike damage would be bigger. I swapped from Sushi to Marine Stew Pot spam after Void Song. I swapped out Selh'teus for Star Sybil and went for it. Yes, swapping out the trust was moronic, as I once again failed at 45% on the 8th try. The big things that I changed for the next battle were, I decided for the first time in a while to try the battle without my Gastrophides. I went full Dragon Gun with my Fomalhaut and figured the best thing that could kill a dragon was a gun made out of a dragon. I was also thinking Dragon Killer and Dragon Circle job abilities and traits, so I subbed Dragoon. Ranger sub Dragoon? I know that sounds crazy, but I also figured with their new weapon skill damage traits, it would be helpful. Lastly was that I changed out a healing capable trust for a buff trust on the last battle and did worse. So I traded a buff trust for another healing trust this time. I swapped Koru-Moru for Arciela and ditched Star Sybil for Selh'teus again. So my final setup ended with Amchuchu, Selh'teus, Arciela, Sylvie, and Ignis. A tank, 2 AoE healing trusts, a Geo with buffs and healing, and Ignis the main white mage. Basically, a tank and 4 healers. Neak once again killed Amchuchu and Selh'teus at about 18%, which was the lowest I ever got previously. The difference was I had 3 healers remaining through the Chainspell, and they saved me every time. I hung on for dear life. did not want to lose. I gave it my all and still cannot believe it. I had finally did it. I made sure Neak was done for. Hey everyone, I just want to give a thanks to a few people for making this video possible. First, I'd like to thank DJ Kanai for making the rad new music he has made for the Retired Gamers channel. Please check out his page on Instagram at DJ Kanai. Next, I'd like to thank BG Wiki and all of the editors of the wiki and the Final Fantasy XI community for providing information all about Final Fantasy XI. Please check out bgwiki.com for all of your Final Fantasy XI needs. Lastly, I'd like to thank my wife Peach for making the awesome thumbnails for our YouTube channel. Please stay tuned for more games being played by her in the future. If you haven't had a chance yet, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.
Retired Gamers.